and I like almost chest to chest bumped into Robert Downey Jr. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That I just almost ran into him. Neat.
Hey, welcome to Prime Focus, a podcast where I'll be sitting with other photographers, getting to know their process, what makes them tick, and chat about gear, of course. So, this week, on the first ever episode, we have Chris Saunders. How you doing, man? How's it going?
What's up? How's it going?
Welcome. Thank you for being a guest on the very first episode.
Yep. You know what? It's a privilege. Very happy. Very fun. So let's dig in.
Yeah, man. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself, like what kind of photography you're into, and just a little bit like that.
Yeah. So I have been a working commercial and advertising photographer for nearly 20 years. It'll be 20 years next summer, which feels insane to say, but then I realize that I'm 40 and I'm like, yeah, that tracks. And so like I got into photography in high school. I got in through like skateboarding and BMX, and because I rode BMX all the time, and it was one of those where I wanted to shoot the photos that I was seeing in the magazines because a lot of my friends were really good. I was pretty decent. This was like right at the peak of where I was kind of peaking. I'd gotten a little bit of like sponsorship, been sent some stuff, sent some parts, but nothing serious. And then I was like, I'm already tired. Like I'm already like getting left behind. So it's like, what can I do to stay involved? Like I know that I'm not going to make a career out of this.
Yeah.
So then like we got into actually making videos first. My friend had a Sony VX2000 that was like brand new. And we would go filming. And then I had a girlfriend at the time in high school that she was taking a photography class.
Okay.
So I borrowed her film camera and was just like, you know what, let's just run with it. I think it was just like an old, I don't even remember what the model was in the States, the Canon. No, it was a Nikon film camera, but either way, just a basic like consumer 35 mil SLR. And I shot some decent stuff with it. And then that kind of just led to me just getting into photography brackets general. I would look at other magazines, I'd see other stuff. And like, I immediately started taking notice of the photography that was around me and in advertising and all this stuff. I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool stuff. I started trying to teach myself the most that I could, but I lived in the South. I lived in Kentucky, which not much going on for the world of creativity around there. So I ended up going to photography school, and then then in 2006 started just working as like a product photographer, and then have had lots of different steps of how that evolved over the years.
It's amazing, man. Like that progression, the beginning of that progression is kind of like how I got into photography as well. Some friends have done it a little bit, but like I've always been on this other wall that you can't see is just a row of like guitars. And I've always been into music, played in bands, and
music was another part of it too.
Yeah.
Like sorry to cut you off. The BMX was like the doorway, but I was also in a band and I would take photos at shows. And then like after photography school, some of the first work that I did was for like magazines, for like Alternative Press magazine. I would shoot Warped Tour every year.
Oh wow!
So a lot of like live music. So it's that totally makes sense. I agree.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I think like when you're in a band, you constantly think like, why don't we know a person that takes good photos of us? And so, and the drummer in our band, who will be a future person on this series, actually, is a full-time photographer. Yeah. And we both said to each other before, like, wouldn't it be great if we just knew someone that would take photos of us? And I kind of started getting into photography, and I originally, it's not the way I actually went, but I originally was like, wouldn't it be great if I could just go to my friends' gigs and get good photos of them? And I did it like a little bit, and then it ended up not being what I enjoyed at all. Like, I think it's cool, but then I just kind of found street photography just while looking at photography in general on the internet. I was like, oh wow, no, this feels better. This feels like right, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
we were saying like just before we start recording, the craziest thing is how we kind of technically met on a photo walk, but and through that photo walk, but we
Yeah,
never actually met on that
right.
photo walk.
Yeah, yeah. No, Caleb's photo walk at the Barbican.
Yeah.
It's funny because I had only started following him, God, maybe a month or two
Oh, really?
before that popped up. Yeah, I'd come across him on YouTube,
Oh, okay.
and then was just like, oh, cool. And then I saw that he was in London. I was like, I didn't have anything else actually going on that afternoon. I was like, okay, perfect. The family was off away doing something. I literally have nothing going on. So, and then of course I didn't know anybody except for one kid, and then I didn't even know that he was going until I saw him there. So
Yeah, I went knowing literally no one,
yeah,
and I remember like walking up, and I got to the Barbican quite early. Like there was only maybe like 4 or 5 people when I got there, and I was so like dreading it. Like I don't mind going to meet like 1 or 2 people that I haven't like met before, but it was like I knew there was gonna be like 30 to 50 people there, and I was like, if I turn up late and everyone's there and I just turn up on my own, I'll feel really weird. um, but I got really lucky. I turned up, and the moment I walked in, a guy called Elliot, who potentially will also be a guest later on,
nice.
he just turned around and he was like, "Hey, I'm Elliot." Just like the first thing that was said to me, and I was like, "Great, that's exactly what I needed."
Yeah,
But yeah, like there were so many people that like I got to know like 2 or 3 people like quite well, and then since then have spoken to so many people that were on that photo walk that I just didn't get to talk to.
yeah,
Um, did you see the black and white photos that went round of it?
a little bit. Yeah, yeah, a
Yeah.
few.
So all the black and white photos, like the film photos, are obviously where Caleb like stole my film camera
Oh
off me
yes,
and ran around taking photos. And I'm so happy he did because it gave me the opportunity to like I tagged a bunch of people in, they found other people, tagged them in, and then since then I've been able to like get to know the work of and talk to people that I just completely missed on
yeah,
that original photo walk, which is crazy. One photo walk, so many people.
yeah. And it's funny because like I street photographer. I would not consider myself a street photographer at all.
Hmm.
Um, I have done it for years, and I think the big thing was with like where I grew up and the photography that I started doing. I focused on a subject,
Yeah.
and this was like pre YouTube days or very very early YouTube days, where God, when did YouTube even start? 2007, 2008, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so right after photography school, when I moved back to Kentucky, because I went to photo school like 1,000 miles away in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Um, when I got home, I didn't live in a city. I lived in like small town,
Yeah.
like medium population. I had been there my damn near my whole life. I
Mhm.
found nothing interesting about it.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
photographed the people. That's what got me into like the portraiture stuff. And then my first jobs were in product and
Oh, right.
like e-commerce. And so it was like I never looked at street photography as something that was even a thing that I had an interest in. And it wasn't really until I moved to London in 2018 that I took the time to go out because I was like,
Mhm.
I'm here now. I live here. I want to learn this city.
Yeah.
So the first few months, like right after we moved here, I would go in because I live in Southwest London.
Mhm.
I live down in like Kingston, Surbiton area.
Okay, yeah.
I would just take the train in and I'd pick a station. I'd I'd go to Waterloo and then I'd pick a station somewhere on the underground.
Yeah.
I'd take it to that and then I'd walk back to Waterloo.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great plan.
And then whatever I came across, like I'd learn the city that way. I did that for a good few months, where it's just like maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
Yep.
I was going in, and I probably shot most of my favorite street photography there.
Mhm.
But then probably, God, I maybe get out once or twice a year right now with the mindset of it, but I don't even do much street photography in that sense. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like with something like that photo walk, what can I do differently? So I was that jackass running around with the pro photo strobe
Yep.
and taking portraits
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
people. So
I remember seeing you take photos of people, and I literally remember being like, I want to speak to this guy because it's like completely different to the setup that we all have. Like
yeah,
some of us, obviously, we all had some form of film camera on us
yeah,
because it's bad flashes. It's Caleb, you couldn't
yeah, yeah,
go there without. But I had a little point and shoot with that black and white, and then I just had the original X100 on me because I just
yeah,
wanted to be like light. I didn't want to be walking around all day
yeah.
heavy. And I saw you taking photos, and I was like, I have to meet this person. And then when we did that long walk from our finishing point to the pub we went to,
Yeah.
I met like 4 people on the walk. And then as soon as we got to that pub, I feel like everyone had locked in with people on that walk and were just like, I really want to know everything about these people now. So I
Yeah.
like sat at a table, sat with a few people. Caleb joined for a bit, then he went off. And I was like, at the very end, maybe like 2 people I hadn't met before joined our desk for a bit. But I was
Yeah.
like, the time went like so fast. I looked up and I was like, there's like 4 of us still here. It's like,
Yeah.
how have I just missed talking to everyone?
Yeah.
It was insane. It was I think I don't really call myself like a street photographer either.
Yeah.
I used to be like, oh, I'm all street photography. But I also like never really call it sounds weird, but I never really call myself a photographer either because like I feel like I haven't decided the thing that makes me want to take photos of it, if that makes sense. Like I know kind of what I like in street photography.
Yeah.
I now kind of know what I like when it comes to just like kind of like holiday travel, documenting your time away sort of photography.
Yeah.
And they're my like 2 things I'm most used to doing. But there's so many things I haven't tried. Like I really want to try product photography, and I just haven't
Can
got
I
around to it
can I
yet.
tell you a fun secret?
Yes.
20 years, like over 20 years as a photographer and like legitimately 20 years as a working photographer,
Mhm.
um, it never stays the same. It always changes. Like even if I look back at the stuff that I shot at the beginning, like it is worlds different than what I shoot now.
Yeah.
And it's constantly evolving. I'm still learning. Like photography school set me up with the basics of the process, and I've always had like more of like a mechanical mind anyways. Like I'm really like things like process and
Mhm.
how things work always just click and make sense to me. So I
Yeah.
never struggled with how to do something in photography. It was
Mhm.
always just like what is interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I had a point with that. Go on. No, but yeah, no, the it can always change. It can always adapt.
Yeah. I've only I've always kind of been into photography, but like I started this whole channel even just to like document my journey of just learning how to be a better photographer.
Yeah.
I bought my A6000 uh, nearly 5 years ago, right before I went on a trip, and I said to my partner, "I don't know how to use this, but by the time we come back, I'll know." And I was like, the moment she was falling asleep in the hotel, I was like watching videos on like what mode to use and
Yeah.
really basic setups and like how exposure compensation works and what that dial does. And just I did this week went from being like a week of relaxing to just this week of ingesting as much knowledge as possible.
Yeah.
And I stuck with that camera, didn't change for ages. And then I realized that I really like trying different gear out as well. Like
Yeah.
not so much new stuff. Like I love just trying older cameras where you have to like think about how you're going to get the photo because it can't just do it for you.
Oh yeah.
And I look now at like not even like the first photos I took because they were always going to be not bad, but definitely not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then I look at like how I shoot now, and there's some things that are still like kind of similar, but the
Hmm.
differences are wild. So I can 100% like see how much that changes over the years. Like there's so many niches I just want to try out, like
Yeah. I have always loved like teaching photography too. So
Mhm.
it's funny because I do actually have a YouTube channel where I've tried at various times to get into a rhythm
Yeah.
of, okay, I've got 60 to 80 video ideas that I've like written down,
Yeah.
and then life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's the I'll be consistent for a few weeks, and then it just falls completely off, and then
Yeah.
I'll overthink it and then move along from there. But like I've always enjoyed like teaching,
Hmm.
and I have had these times where when it comes to things like the process and how people are learning, like I've always been a big proponent of just like, because like I started on film, I
Hmm.
started with my girlfriend's 35 mil, and then when I was in photography school, that was right as like the first 5D came out.
Okay.
So I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
it was a huge deal that my school, not only we had our Mamiya 645s,
Hmm.
that was our main camera for the entire school year, but
Wow.
we could rent a 5D
That's mad.
from the school because they could only get like 50 of them.
Yeah.
Uh, and that was a huge deal. I
Yeah.
mean, we still had
Me.
CRT monitors
Oh.
in the editing studio, in like the retouching
Yeah.
hall. Like we had a big auditorium type thing where there were, I think, about 60 or 80 like Mac Pro desktops,
Hmm.
and we had LaCie CRT monitors. That's how long ago this was. But I learned on film, and it was one of those where it doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
something about exposure compensation. I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't ever use exposure compensation. I don't give a shit. Like my core settings are your three heroes.
Yeah.
It's your ISO, your shutter, and your aperture. Anything else does it does not matter
Yeah.
in the end
Hmm.
for learning photography.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think sometimes people get bogged down with, oh, there's so much involved in photography. And actually,
Yeah.
there's not.
No, the
Photography
basics is
itself
they're so easy.
is actually really easy.
Yeah.
The difficult part is making photography that appeals to you.
Yeah. 100%.
Because what usually gets people into photography is seeing work that appeals to them.
Yeah.
And what's even funnier is if you actually consider a lot of the work that a lot of these, especially if you look at some of your old film photography legends, Henry Cartier-Bresson, Gordon Parks,
Hmm.
Muriel and Mark, they they were all shooting on film with the
Hmm.
most basic of settings, and half the time they were just making sure that the exposure was going to roughly be right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they were not putting half the thought in that we are overthinking today,
Yeah.
and had none of the stuff that we have
No.
to make an image. And so whenever I've taught and I've lectured, I've like guest lectured at schools before.
Hmm.
Uh, I tell everyone, it's like half the shit you're learning
Yeah.
is great to know, but you're the core things you need to learn. It's how to control your camera,
Yeah.
but then how to be who you want to be
Yeah.
as a photographer. And
Yeah.
the big secret to that is that never stays the same.
No, it doesn't.
So once you've got the settings locked down, you're going to be working on who you are as a photographer for the rest of your life. Some people figure it out and they lock into something, they find that niche that they're exceptional at,
Yeah.
and they can run with it. And good for them. That's rare.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't feel like that's ever going to be me.
And as long as you come in and like you have this kind of understanding that like it takes time. Like
Yeah.
I shoot stuff now that I couldn't have even dreamed of shooting 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But even I look at the stuff that I'm shooting now and I am not happy with 90% of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've set my bars higher. I have more of a clear idea of what I'm trying to achieve with each thing that I shoot.
Hmm.
So it's like the problem solver in me is trying to get to the image that I have in my head.
Yeah.
because I'm going out because this comes back to the different styles of photography. Street photography is documentation,
Yeah.
but with an air of you're using what's there and you are making a photograph. Or I think a lot of people try to make a photograph out of what they see and what's available to them.
Yeah.
And I do that to an extent, but I also, because I do come in with more of like control, where I'm controlling lighting, I'm controlling posing, I'm trying to make a photograph in a completely different way.
Mm-hmm.
And so different variables, different outcomes. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I think like I've had so many people before. I see it. You say about people getting so bogged down in like the technicalities of like everything. The most common thing that like, and I think anyone that does like Instagram as photography or like any form of social media or YouTube, the most common thing you get from people that just start is, what were your settings when you've taken a photo? And it's just
Doesn't
like,
matter.
you just got a camera. How you get better at photography is having that camera in your hand as many hours of every day that you can, like, make that camera part of your arm, and that's how you'll get
Well,
better.
even that, when I've had people ask questions, or like they've asked me that, what are your settings? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I can pull up the exif data, but like,
How do you shoot manual most of the
oh yeah,
time, or yeah? Okay, cool.
because I've always thought that way.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I know that a lot of people, they look at that exposure triangle of ISO, shutter speed, and aperture
Mm-hmm.
all as like three equal things, and they want to like make changes to each one accordingly. And I still
Yeah.
think like film.
Okay.
I will take into account what my setting is,
Yep.
and I will set that ISO and
Yep.
not fuck with it.
Fair.
And then from there, I'm just bouncing off of whatever my shutter speed. If then I am running into a situation where I need to bump up the ISO, cool, great, I can.
Yeah.
But once I set that, I leave it alone. And even when back when I used to shoot weddings, like I'd take the room that I'm in into consideration, or the environment that I'm at. All right, cool. I know that when I'm in with the bride in this room, I'm going to be at 800. I know when I'm out here, I'm going to be at 160.
Yep.
Cool. And I just pop between them. I do a quick recce, lock that down, and then from there, I'll stay within an aperture range and then just change my shutter speed accordingly.
That's a really cool way of looking at it. Like, it makes complete sense though, because like when I shoot film,
You're
I,
locked into that
yeah,
ASA.
and I shoot more manually because I'm like, okay, like I have like this is going to be less forgiving. Like I need
Yeah.
to just make sure that like I still don't need to focus on everything, but I still need to make sure I'm in the parameters that I know
Yeah.
are going to work in the lighting. So most of the time, for a lot of my stuff, I use manual occasionally, depending on the camera and what I'm doing. For
Yeah.
most of my like running around, I just use aperture priority.
Yeah.
Just so it's a real
Yeah.
quick like change that one thing. I've got my my min shutter speed set up so that I know
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to capture something in the moment. But yeah, that's a really cool way of looking at it. I've never. It makes sense. It makes absolute
For
sense that
me,
you could just lock yourself in like that.
it's each one's a tier.
Yeah,
So I'll set that ISO and then not change it
yeah,
for probably the majority of whatever I'm shooting,
hmm
unless I absolutely have to. Then the aperture, depending upon what lenses I'm using
yeah,
and what look that I know that I'm wanting to achieve, I
hmm
know that I want to stick within a certain range.
yeah,
So I'll probably mostly stick around one or two settings in that, and then all I'm doing is I'm changing the shutter speed. So like I'm only really changing one setting most of the
yeah.
time.
That
Like,
makes
oh,
sense.
a little dark, open it up, that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like I open things up in a certain order of
Yeah.
things.
No, that makes sense. That makes
So
absolute sense.
yeah, it doesn't need, it ain't that deep. It doesn't need to be that complicated.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
So
So, what's your current setup? Like your go-to gear, whether that's for like work, like your workhorse
yeah.
camera, or like your personal. Like, what have you got?
Um, I honestly, I have a really minimal setup. I don't have a
Okay,
ton of cameras. Um, GFX 50S2.
nice.
So I've been shooting medium format with this for 3 years because
Mhm.
some people will have the argument, oh, it's no different, doesn't look any different. I call bullshit. um, it's the kind of thing where I I got to experience shooting medium format digital in work environments,
Mhm.
and shooting with like a phase one, like
Yep.
an IQ 160,
Mhm.
or even with the Hasselblad like H4Ds or whatever. So I know that there's a certain depth to how that stuff can look, and for the longest time, I shot with Canon. I shot a 5D Mark III,
Mhm.
5D Mark II for a long time, then a 3,
Yep.
then a 5DS. Because I wanted that 50 megapixels because I was still doing a lot of like product, even when I was doing like freelance
Okay.
work.
Yep.
I would
Yep.
get, I would get hired for product stuff, and because I had come from also having when you've had access to retouch products at 100 or 150 megapixels,
Yeah.
oh god, there's nothing better. Like when you have so much detail that you can work with,
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
99% of the time it's unnecessary.
But it's when you need it and it's
30
there.
megapixels is all most people will ever need, and even
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I personally like having 50 or more, just because of how I retouch and how I clean up, whether it's products or portraits.
Yep.
I know that at a certain point, I like knowing that I have that kind of data to run with. And
Yeah.
so
Of course. Yeah.
I used the 5DS for a long time. And especially for like my environmental portraiture, I was using a 35-1.4 Sigma art lens,
Okay.
which was, and I'd usually shoot it at 1.8, 1.4 most of the time.
Mhm.
Um, and I loved the depth. I love wide but shallow depth of field
Okay. Yeah.
um, images because those were closer to the look that I would get whether I was shooting medium format digital or even like shooting because I used to have a Hasselblad. Whenever I would shoot like portraits on film,
Mhm.
when you have that larger plane, like yeah, if you cropped in to a certain point at a certain f-stop at certain crops, if you framed it the same, yeah, your depth of field is going to be negligibly different.
Yeah.
When you have that wider shot and you've got a good depth of field on a wide view, it's one of my favorite looks in portraiture, especially environmental portraiture,
Mhm.
because it really like it sets you in the space. And so when I switched to medium format, when I switched to the Fuji,
Yeah.
it medium format. It's it's not as big as some of the other sensors, but it's bigger than 35. And for me, it gave me just enough of that look that the second I did like my first real shoot with it, I was like, this is what I feel like I've been missing in
Yeah.
my own kit for a long time. And like I honestly I felt a shift in my work when I did that.
Yeah.
And plus just editing the raws out of the GFXs is just fantastic. Like the color science is fantastic on them. So
Yeah.
but like I'm not a gear like nut.
Mhm.
Um like I've had the same Profoto B1 head for 8 years and of the umbrella that I've got for it is old and tattered, and I've got a 6 foot parabolic umbrella for it. It throws some of my favorite light. So like I'm actually a low kit pony. I've had a ton of kit,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but it's kind of a pain in the ass to haul around.
It, yeah, like I just like to touch on that. Like I used to be, and I think along every like photographer's journey, you are that guy who brings everything with you when you go somewhere.
Yeah,
Because when you first start, you're just like, I don't know what I'll need. Surely I'll need all of this, and you go and you use maybe one lens, maybe two if you're shooting exclusively primes,
I I
and then
don't
you
miss
come
those
back.
days.
Yeah, and it's just like you just come back and you're like, I have a bad back now, and I didn't need to do that. And so like
Yeah,
I my bag now, unless I'm like going to do some videography work or something, it doesn't come with me. I have three sling bags that got smaller and smaller and smaller. And if I'm just going for a photo walk to just enjoy my favorite camera in my vast lineup of cameras, but they're all like older, except for like my workhorse cameras, is my X100, like the original. I just
Yeah.
love it. I love shooting with it. I love the photos that come out of it. I love how it feels in the hand. Everything, like, just I never understood why people would be like, "This is my camera that I will never get rid of," because I always just be like, I like cameras, but like it's the images, right? And then I got that camera, and I was like, I get it. I fully get it now. And like we've
I've
just
had
come
two.
back from it.
I've had two X100s.
Yeah,
I had the X100S and I had the V, and I have sold them both. And each time I did, within a week, I was like, shouldn't have done that.
yeah.
Not have done that.
I think like I got it for an incredible deal as well because I picked it up on MPB and it was for £320 when everything else was 500 plus
Yeah.
because F11 on narrower has one tiny dust speck. And I was like, two things. One, anytime I am going to shoot that, I don't mind just having to remove one dust speck from
Yeah.
the image. And two, often I'm not stopping past F8 and you
Yeah.
can't see anything. So I was like, I'll absolutely take that. And the only thing I think I miss is I'd love to get, I think, is it the T that went up to 16?
I
Or is
think
it the
so.
S? Yeah, it's one of the two. I think it's the T. That's the only thing I'd love
It's a bit
is
more
just to be able
resolution.
to, yeah, just a little bit leverage, a little bit more like I want to crop in a little bit on this image and still keep a lot of the detail.
Yeah.
But it also taught me that I think I've always had an idea that like I think my perfect focal range would be, or focal length would be like, I don't know, somewhere like 40, 50-ish.
Yeah.
I shot a prime 50 in London the other day for the first time, just took the 50, nothing else. Loved it, but it wasn't exactly right. I love the 35 equivalent on the X100, but it's just not right. And I think 40 is like where my
Yeah. 40
heart
to
wants to be.
45. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that 30 to 45 range.
Yeah.
I mean, on the GFX, the lens, I just have the 35 to 70 on it. I have the kit lens, which when you say kit lens, a lot of people turn
People
their
lose their
noses up at it.
mind. Yeah.
The GFX kit lens is a good lens.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I have rented others, and I've adapted
Mhm.
lenses to it. And actually, one of the ones that I walked around with on that photo walk was an adapted Helios 442.
Okay.
And I had 3D printed an adapter for it.
Yeah.
And I also have a 2x teleconverter for it.
Okay.
So it was, which is a 52 or 53 millimeter lens with a 2x teleconverter, but then it's a 0.77 crop factor. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's either acting like about a 40
Mm-hmm.
or an 80.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And it looked wild on it. I've got
Yeah.
a Hasselblad V mount lens adapter for it, so
Okay.
I like the idea of playing with old lenses
Mm-hmm.
on the GFX. I think that's a big part of the GFX fan base is
Yeah.
they adapt old lenses, old medium format lenses like the Mamiyas, the
Mm-hmm.
Pentaxes. But yeah, no, I mean primarily most of my portraits are with that lens now, and it's just I'm either shooting, if it's an environmental shot, it's wide, and I'm shooting all the way wide at about 35, which is about like a 28, and
Yeah.
then giving myself that little bit of room to tighten up if I need to.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah,
I mean, that's like a perfect segue. You talk about your portraits, so let's have a look at some of your photos because I like. Obviously, I asked you to send over like 3 of like your favorite photos you've taken.
it's funny because they are some of my favorite, but I
Mhm.
have so many favorites.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I have stories
Mhm.
kind of behind them a little bit. So
So let's have a look. If you describe this first image to me, tell me about it. It is a view and a half. The man has a fantastic beard, for
yeah,
one. The boot on the is that it's a boot, right? A boot on the
it
head.
is a welly. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Where
Okay.
where did you take that? What happened?
All right. There is a story behind this. So, avoiding getting anything political.
Mhm.
This guy, his name is Vermin Supreme,
Okay.
and he is a political satirist who lives in Vermont in the
Okay.
States. And basically, I right the couple years before we moved, my family and I came to the UK.
Yeah.
I owned a studio in New Hampshire, in Concord. So in the U.S. Um, political world,
Hmm.
there's a lot of layers to it, but basically, New Hampshire is a big battleground state
Okay.
because it's the first state that does their like primary elections
Okay.
where whoever's running for president goes there first. They
Okay.
go there first because they're the first ones that kind of set the pace for
Yeah.
who's going to be doing well in the elections.
Cool. Makes
So if
sense.
someone goes and they absolutely tank, it is probably unlikely that they're going to continue
Yeah.
much
Yeah. Yeah.
longer after that in the electoral race. So, and it's not a big town. It's not a big city. My studio was on the main street, about you know a 5-minute walk from the Capitol building.
Hmm.
Um, and so 2016, Hillary lost the election to Trump. And so she decided to write a book about it.
Yeah.
Her book had then come out. So I think I did this in 2017. And basically, she was going around doing a book signing, like going on tour, going to different cities to do a book signing.
Yeah.
She was doing, Hillary Clinton was doing her book signing at the bookstore across the street from my studio. In her book, she basically had a section where she made fun of this guy. Or she said some shit about him because, like, if you look up anything about this dude, it looks like he's an absolute lunatic.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can see, this is how
Yeah.
he shows up to debates. He runs for president every election. He actually puts in the paperwork to legally run as a candidate for president.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And his whole thing is a socialist pony-based economy where every family gets a free pony, and it's ridiculous. It's absolute chaos. But it's a character.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It is making fun of the system while trying to be a part of it.
Yep.
So she made some hullabaloo in her thing about how, in her book, she commented on him. He did not take too kindly to that. So what he was doing, while the day that she was having her book signing, he was protesting outside of the bookstore across the street, which means he was right in front of my studio.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you can, this is a crop of the main image, but just off to the left, you can see the roof to the building that my studio is in. So I get to the studio that morning because I've got other stuff that I was going to work on, and it's absolute pandemonium down there. It's like, what the hell is going on? And there's a big queue out the bookstore because they're waiting for her to show up to do this.
Yeah.
It's early in the morning, and I see him getting ready. So I run down, I run out front, and I go, "How you doing? I'm a photographer. My studio is literally right here. Can I take a portrait of you?"
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, of course. Like, as it's about to get crazy because, like, literally the news media was showing up because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they had also told him that he couldn't have his pony at the protest. And so he
What a statement.
he sued the city to get permission to have his pony at his protest. It was mayhem, absolute mayhem. So I was like, all right, let me run in, let me grab my stuff.
Yeah.
And so I run in. This is pre-Fuji days, so it was my 5DS.
Mhm.
Actually, it might have even been my Mark III. I think my 17 to 40, and I grabbed a light with a 1x3 strip box.
Yep.
Threw a pocket wizard on it. And what I essentially did was I walked past them, and what they were doing is they were kind of making their way down the sidewalk. And I set my light up. I just held my hand up to get a couple of exposures.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is about as good as it's going to get. So I kind of waited for him to come by. He makes eye contact with me. You can see the people that are kind of standing around him, like a little bit with their phones. I've got 3 different news channels about 3 feet behind me that are about to bombard him. So I've got my light set up off to the side. He makes eye contact with me, and he kind of just gives me a nod, like,
Yeah.
"Here, get ready."
Yeah.
He turns, swings, and does this little pose. I get 3 shots. That's number 2.
It's such a good shot as well. Like it's hard to. I don't know how to describe it, but it makes me feel a way. Do
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
So
it
the
makes me
thing
feel like
is,
he's about to go on a big adventure.
it's regal. It's like it's epic. And what's funny
Yeah.
is like he turned, he gave this like stoic look and like held his fist up. He did bring it up a little bit higher, but he had brought it up too high on the third shot. I was like, no, it's the middle one. It's the middle
It's this
shot.
one. Yeah.
So and then literally as soon as that third shot goes off, news channel microphone pops up into his face. And so then there's people, and like I did try to take a couple more shots, but they didn't work the way that I wanted them to work.
Yeah. Of
I
course.
think
Yeah.
it could have been fun if I had gotten a little bit of that in there, but this one was the strongest one of the bunch. And so
Yeah.
I ran inside my studio, dumped the card, and I probably spent 20 minutes giving it a quick like edit and color grade
Yeah.
because I shot it horizontal.
Hmm.
So I cut a bit off the sides. I was like, this is a because there was too much other clutter of
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
people going on. I
Just
didn't remove
distractions.
anything.
Yeah.
I just cropped and then I threw it up on Reddit where it absolutely blew up. It made front page. It was top post on Reddit for half a day, and like the guy hit me up afterwards. He had seen it,
Yeah.
contacted me, and was just like, what's funny about this guy is like he's so nice
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
understands how things work. I got even like a year ago, he emailed me to just ask permission if he could just use it for something else again.
That's
And
so
if you
cool.
Google him now, I think this is the main photo that comes up now.
That's
So
amazing.
um it's one of my favorites because I had woken up that day and I had no idea
Yeah.
I was going to get it. I had no idea
Yeah.
it was even going to be a thing. And by 11 a.m., it was done out in the world, and it was blowing up on the internet. I had someone from France message me saying that it was super epic and they wanted to paint a copy of it. It's been used in a bunch of other shit. And like I
Yeah.
never got paid for it. I didn't care. This is one of those like I just want to put this one out in the world. Like
Yeah.
I don't care. The
It's
local like New Hampshire magazine did run it as a little article, and they ran it as a full page in their magazine.
yeah.
But outside of that, oh, it's one of those where like because I'm happy that I know how to do these things
Hmm.
quickly. I didn't dwell on it. I didn't. There was no planning in this whatsoever,
Yeah.
and it feels like such an epic portrait. Someone
It
posted it. I see it pop up on Reddit every once in a while. Someone posted it in r/accidental renaissance like
I
a year ago, and
can see that.
it's like, yeah, like someone's like, this deserves to be an oil painting hanging up somewhere, and I'm like, neat. So
It's the thing. I think my favorite thing about it, and like I liked this about it before I heard like how much of like a quick
yeah,
turnaround, like go in, grab stuff, come back out kind of shot it was. But like it's so well lit. Like it, the light hits him perfectly. It's enough of that separation from like it
yeah,
shows like that lovely little bit of shine coming off the side of the boot.
yeah.
Like it's so nicely lit, and it just you've done like an incredible job. Like I
Thank
love
you.
it so much. It's such
That's
a
why I
good
think that's why it's one of
photo.
my favorite because like sometimes I will get bogged down when I'm like lighting for a portrait, and
Yeah,
I'll start to overthink it,
yeah.
and then I will remind myself that I can do this kind of shit quickly, and
Same.
sometimes it doesn't actually matter
Yeah,
how because again I threw it up, I put it about a foot above my head, tilted the 1x3, it's a 1x3 or 1x4 softbox,
yeah.
vertically oriented, and that was it. And like what little bit of dodging and burning I did on the shadow cheek to bring it up, because it
Yeah.
was just a little bit darker, I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
brought
Yeah.
that up a little bit. I
Yeah.
didn't go crazy retouching, just a little bit with the color grading, and then that was about it.
It uh it's so good.
Like I
I
said, I
love it.
edited it in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's incredible, man.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I also love the second one, right? So I need to hear about this.
This is my wife's um, uncle in law.
Okay.
He is a painter and an illustrator,
Hmm.
and they live in France, and
Oh wow.
he's from Switzerland. And basically, this is the first portrait I did with my GFX,
Okay.
like the first actual like portrait. Um, his name is Michel Devriant. I've never been great at pronouncing the last name. But he used to do like political cartoons. He's an artist. He's an illustrator. I've got a couple of things up on my wall here that he's done. Um, so this is my wife's aunt's husband.
Yeah.
We went to go visit them in France um, a few years ago. It was the summer that I got the GFX, and I just brought it along. I brought my light because it's like, you know what? It'd be cool to shoot a portrait of him in his little studio.
Yeah.
And basically, they've got this like old like they live down in like the southeastern part of France.
Hmm.
We road trip down, me and the fam, and um, we they've basically got multiple outbuildings at their
Okay.
house. Like we stayed in the main house. Her aunt makes jewelry in one of the buildings. This is another like barn, like farm type barn building
Yeah.
where he makes his stuff. And he was working on just that like colored charcoal thing. And no, he was down to sit for it. Um, I was using it was my GFX, my Profoto B1, and I think I can't remember if it was my beauty dish, my like Profoto like pop up beauty dish,
Hmm.
or the 1x3 softbox that I have for that. I really like the rectangle 1x3s
Yeah.
because they're actually super versatile with. Because I think some people will go either too big with their softboxes, or everyone just grabs the big like Octabank
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
softboxes, and like those can be great in some situations. But I've always just been like a strip box guy
Hmm.
because the way that it can throw a light and then just a slight tweak, you can direct it a little bit better, in my
Yeah.
opinion. At least is the way that I've always shot. But yeah, what I loved about this is that like you can see just the years. They've had this house for 30, 40 years, something like that.
Hmm.
And he's always made art right there. And everything else is so devoid of color.
Yeah.
And then you've got
Yeah.
this one bit where you've got all this colorful charcoal. His old work boot sandals that he's basically made that he's had for years. They're just boots with where the heels have been cut off, and he's used
I
them
was gonna ask. Yeah.
because you can see his heel.
Yeah.
Um, Old creaky bench. You can see all of the cobwebs in the corner.
Yeah. I was gonna ask because the way that sits, like it almost looks like haze, like there's just haze in the air,
Well,
and I
so
had to like really zoom into it to realize that it isn't.
there is a bit of haze, but there's a little window light up there too. So
Yeah.
just
Just catching
above
it.
his head is like a just like a little row of windows. They're about this deep,
Yeah.
and the width of the wall. So there was already good light coming in,
Yeah.
lighting up that scene. I just thought it looked great. You've got the old wood stove. You've just got like art supplies just stacked everywhere,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
the random moon boots in the corner.
Right.
Like it's like
The first three things that I thought when I looked at this, obviously, like one, I was caught by just like that frame of color.
yeah,
The second one, well, actually, I think the first four things. The second one was I looked at him, and it's that whenever you see. whenever you like, especially in like movies and stuff, and in older portraits of people, the striped white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, it's like such a classic, like
Yeah.
artists, like whether it's pottery or painting, like it's such a classic like shirt for that to be worn.
Mhm.
And I saw the moon boots and just had a million questions.
Yeah.
And then my last thought was like, I feel like I know what the air would feel and smell like
Yeah.
in that room from this photo.
Yeah. It's
Like,
cool. Like, um, yeah, it's just one of those where like I wanted to shoot a portrait of him anyways because he's
mhm,
always just been in like an interesting character.
yeah,
Um, I met him for the first time when my wife and I, like before we were married, like we've been together for 16 years. We came on a trip over here. My first time out of the country
yeah,
was to England and France with her because she has family in France and like she's got a connection to the UK. And so it's
mhm,
like always been super nice. And I was like, the last time we had been, I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to shoot a portrait of him in here.
yeah.
And then when we knew that we were going, and I had just gotten the GFX, it's like
This is the time.
this is the
Yeah,
time I'm going to do this.
yeah,
um, and that's when he goes to make his art, when he's going to go just sit and work on stuff. That's the same overalls and the same shirt. I think he changes in that room and will wear something different in the rest of the house. I don't think those clothes leave that like barn
yeah, yeah,
because they've got years. Like those overalls, you can just see how caked up with
yeah,
chalk and art debris all over them. There's loads of chalk bits all over the ground. Yeah, it's one of my favorite portraits that I've shot.
yeah. I can see why.
So
It's such a good photo again, man.
yeah,
And then we move away from portraiture
yeah,
for the last photo. I don't think we could get much further away from
yeah.
portraiture. So
So
tell me about this.
yeah, so from 20 like early in 2015 to late in 2017, I was a director of photography at Timberland.
Okay.
Because they're based in New Hampshire and we were living in New Hampshire. And I got a job working for them initially, actually as a video editor. And they were like, "Oh, you can shoot photos too. Cool." And they had kind of gone into this stage of like reworking what their in-house creative looked like. So
Hmm.
there was a lot of opportunities to just make shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I, they bumped me up from video editor to like a director of photography or like so like I would handle a lot of the product photography. I have a ton more of different cool shots,
Yeah.
but what I loved about this one is this was the first boot that they had with this new like soul technology, and they
Hmm.
wanted just a couple of they wanted some shots to show it off in a certain way.
Yeah.
Um, and they didn't even know what they wanted yet. So I took the boot. I spent a couple of hours in the studio and I came up with this. And the creative director liked it so much that he passed it along to the retail store team. And then this ended up actually going up as a big banner, like a 6 foot by like 4 foot like in-store display
Wow.
in every Timberland store around the world
That's crazy.
for and depending upon how often the store changed their stuff.
Yeah.
um it I when I it's funny because I did this in 2016.
Hmm.
When I moved here in 2018, I went into the Timberland store here in Kingston,
Yeah.
um because I actually still maintained a company discount because
Okay.
when I
Yeah.
left, they kept me as a vendor, which meant that I got a discount still. So I was
Nice.
going to go buy a jacket, and hanging up dead in the window was that boot. And I'm like, that's funny because I've never stepped foot into this mall, into this store, but my work has. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
kind of neat. So,
That's so cool.
like I've got a few of those stories where it's just like I've seen work of mine out in the wild.
Yeah.
in places that I never expected. And it's a feeling that never gets old.
Yeah, I bet.
So it's one of my favorites because, again, it's just one of those where they weren't sure what they wanted. I just made something. They wanted to do something where it showed off the bottom,
Yeah.
but showed off the boot. And no, it's nothing technically difficult, but it's one of my favorites for the fact that it got seen and it
Yeah.
got plastered out into the world as much as it did.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, about a month later, the creative director comes by and he was just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, that boot shot's going up in every store."
I can't imagine the feeling of being told that.
It's
Like,
like, "What do you mean every store?" He's like, "Every retail store that's going up as part of the product launch rollout." I was like, "Okay,
yeah,
neat.
this feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty neat." So, I mean, it was really hard for me to pick those three favorites because, like,
Yeah, of course.
I've
Yeah.
got so many that either have a story or, and it's funny because, like, you wouldn't actually assume that product photography has a lot of story behind it, but for me, the process of the creation can
Mhm.
be a fun story.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
so, um, actually, I remember I had someone trying to poo poo on being like a product photographer because it's like it doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, at the end of the day, no, it's capitalism through and through. I
Yeah.
am making this image so the company can try to sell somebody something.
Yeah.
But I'm still getting to make
Yeah. Still
full stop.
expressing the way you want to express
I'm
it.
still getting to do things in a way that is fun for me. Like,
Yeah.
and it is a problem solving thing. It's like they have a need, I have a skill set, I am solving a problem then.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's weird to say that product photography is something that I can be, not proud of. I mean, I am, but like, yeah, it's just it's a fun thought.
Yeah, it is.
So
I don't think there's any I don't think there's any person that's kind of got into photography that wouldn't be super chuffed whether it was like I mean I'm sure there's some people that would be like, oh, I don't like the fact that it's being used to sell, but I think most of us in the photography world would be
yeah,
like, I took a thing, I made that thing,
yeah.
someone liked it enough to want everyone to see it and thought it was good enough to make someone be like, that
Yeah.
looks cool, I'd like to buy it.
Well,
Like,
well, one of those first experiences was like my first job was doing e-commerce stuff. So it was literally just products of shoes, like photos of shoes on a
mhm.
white background where they got cut out and put up on a product page. That one did kind of kill the creative soul a bit because
Yeah.
it was all about efficiency and
Yeah.
process, not about creativity whatsoever. But
Yeah.
when I eventually made my way as a product photographer at Hasbro, which is a big toy
Yeah.
company. So I remember one of the first things that I got to do was I got to work on Transformers toys.
That's pretty
I got to
cool.
photograph like a new range of like Optimus Prime and Autobots, and I'm like, fuck yeah, man! Like I get to do this, and it was more on the creative end because these are
Yeah.
the images that were going on the backs of the boxes,
Hmm.
or like even like the front of the package.
Yeah.
I got to do that for Transformers, for GI Joe, um, Nerf,
Nice.
My Little Pony, um, Pixar, and the one of the last things that I did before I left there was I did the entire because they'll break down toys into like product ranges, so they'll have
Yeah.
like 3.5 inch figures or 6 inch figures or so on and so on. I
Yeah.
did the entire range of the 3.5 inch figures for the Avengers, for the first Avengers movie, which meant that I had to sign an NDA because I knew things about the plot based on the toys that
Yeah, of
other
course.
people didn't. And then randomly, while walking back from lunch one day, right around that time, I'm turning a corner It was a poorly designed building,
Mhm.
but I was turning a corner and I like almost chest to chest bumped into Robert Downey Jr.
That's
because
cool.
he was there getting a 3D head scan
Yeah.
for their like Black Series or their really like high
Like
end,
high
like
end, yeah.
perfect model thing. So they were doing 3D scans of people, and he just happened to be able to come into the building. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That I just almost ran into him. Neat. And like,
That's so cool.
I get to take pictures for a living, and I'll get to have those kinds of experiences.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
not always been the easiest, and the career has had its ups and downs. But God, I wouldn't change anything. Nothing.
No. Yeah, I like just to like to touch on that, like obviously like photography isn't my career yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day. But like even just like going to photo walks, meeting people like yourself, doing a podcast like this, like every time I like when people contact me about checking out something new, or someone contacts me and it's like, hey, do you want to come and shoot? Like we don't even have to make a video, I just want to like get to know you, go through some photography and stuff. And every time I like do a video and I put it up, I just think to myself like, isn't it cool that I just get to do this
Yeah.
and people actually watch it?
Yeah.
Like that's insane. Like I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I just wanted to document a stupid journey of me just like making better photos,
Yeah.
and some people just went, I'll come on that journey. And it's just like, that's so cool. And I've met so many people that like I would not have met. And I've had so many experiences that I wouldn't have had I not picked up a camera for the first time.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's insane how much just being into photography just like opened, I guess it's with any like hobby or career, like completely changes, especially in the creative world, completely changes like how your life continues and the
Yeah.
experiences you have.
And just even within all of the realms of the types of photography that you can do,
Yeah.
and how many different paths those that can take. It's I think that's one of the reasons it never gets old. I mean, like, I'm not to say that I've not had my phases of burnout.
Yeah.
It can be extremely stressful, but I love what I do even when I hate it.
Yeah, yeah,
If that
yeah.
makes sense.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, talking of all these little career changes and projects, sorry, that you've had and everything like that, is there anything you're working on at the moment? So, any particular things you're like are in the pipeline for you?
Uh, I I'm at this like fun little crossroads in what I'm doing because I will, I have had most of my jobs have actually been full-time roles somewhere
Yeah,
where I have also gotten to do my photography or it was specifically a photography job.
yeah,
Like I've not been freelance, not nearly as much. Like I did run my own studio in the States for a few years, but I worked in house at Hasbro. I worked in house at Timberland.
yeah,
Um, I worked in house at a couple of other places at the beginning of my career. And then since moving here, literally the last 5, 6 years, I've been full time employee somewhere as a video editor or as content producer, where
yeah.
I'm I was a content producer for a company called Firebox, which is like an online gift retailer.
Hmm.
It's not the most glamorous thing, but I basically got to have free reign over a studio and photograph products day in, day out.
Yeah,
I would shoot some social content, some video content, some stuff for the website. And then that led me to working at a bigger creative advertising agency, the N Partnership, where I primarily worked on a couple of drinks accounts. So they brought me on as a content producer,
hmm,
but a lot of that actually then just shifted into doing different types of photography.
hmm,
And so I was doing there. I was working on Britvic. So I was working on brands like Tango, Aqua Libra, J2O, and then I ended up shooting like the entire like relaunch of Robinson's stuff when they did a rebrand. So like uh, that's another cool thing that I got to do. Like a
yeah,
multi-day shoot. I did a bunch of stuff with J2O, like full like lifestyle shoot for a
yeah,
product launch. But those have all been working in house.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
one where it's like I get paid a salary. I go in. Here's the list of things that I need to get done today. And so the I left there at the beginning of last year. And I've
Hmm.
been freelancing the last couple of years. And because my ADHD mind doesn't have enough to do, I also do 3D work.
Okay, cool.
I
Yeah.
also do like 3D renders. And because I've done so much in the beverage industry, that those have actually been keeping the bills paid.
Oh, okay.
So, but while I've been doing that, I've been refocusing my photography on the stuff that I want to be shooting. So I've actually had chats with a couple of reps, and I'm working on building a bigger body of work
Yeah.
of the type of stuff that I'm trying to do more of.
Okay.
So like
Makes sense.
I'm
Yeah.
in like a in between phase. Like I've assisted a couple of photographers. So I'm not working on any one specific thing, but I'm riding this wave of not working full time for someone,
Yeah.
shifting where my career goes next. Because the big question that I had was I didn't even know if my family and I were going to stay in this country,
Yeah.
because we were getting to the end of our like visa stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
But literally just 2 months ago, we got our indefinite leave to remain.
Oh, awesome.
So we are now here for good. And that like with that question in the air, it's, well, what am I going to be doing? Are we even going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of questions, but I'm kind of starting out 2024 with this fresh mindset of, all right, you know what? We're here. We're not moving. I just went through and I did a big refresh on the website. I've done a couple of fun shoots. I did some stuff with like Saracens Rugby,
Hmm.
um, with a couple of streetwear brands, but again, more kind of shifting into the style that I've been kind of developing with more and more of my portrait work.
Yeah.
I've been going and shooting portraits at a big BMX event that's down in
Cool.
Hastings every year for the last few years, and just building that up. So yeah, I'm just continuing to just work on who I am as a photographer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, I've been in this 20 years and it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
So I'm continuing to work on
Ideal. Ideal.
it.
It sounds like it's like that perfect kind of crossover phase where you're just like, you know what? I've worked for enough people. I've
Yeah.
been told what to shoot. Wouldn't it be cool if I could just shoot what I want to shoot,
Well, and
take the
that's,
jobs I want to take,
you know,
and find
every
more about like what I love doing photography wise?
I think every commercial photographer thinks about having representation at some point,
Yeah.
being a part of a rep's roster where someone else is shopping you out
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
other clients. Because that, if anything, that's one thing that I'm the worst at, is like the business end of it, like reaching out and like selling myself. I'd
Yeah.
rather be shooting.
Yeah. Of
So
course. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's, but because I've had a couple of good chats with reps and like a couple of the big London ones too, and they've the first portfolio review that I had with one about a year ago,
Hmm.
um, was like, you're technically fantastic, but looking at your website, we don't know who you are as a photographer.
Yeah.
And so like I took that really to heart, and I was like, all right, I hear you. Because again, my website had been a huge amalgamation of just stuff that I had done
Yeah.
for other
Yeah. Yeah.
people. I almost had no personal work on it.
Hmm.
Almost all of the portraits were old commissions. So now it's this good mix. Like I've a lot of the portrait work that's on there is the stuff that I'm going out, I'm just shooting for me, I'm
Yeah.
setting up stuff that I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can feel that my body of work is getting stronger for it. So
Good.
I have still got a long way to go. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think like what you just said about the website is like I very recently started like putting together a website just literally to kind of I want to use it to reflect two things. One, like to document projects I've been working on or I've just completed with like photos from that, a bit of like a documentation written up about how it went and who it was for and things like that. But also just to have a like an online portfolio that isn't like Instagram or YouTube
Yeah.
of work. And that's the bit like putting the website together, fine. Writing up the the projects and how they kind of went along in like a blog style, fine. Picking the images and the categories that I think fit me and like how I want to include it, because
Yeah.
I know that the most common three things I shoot is I love street style stuff, I cannot resist shooting a nice car,
Yeah.
and I love shooting like that travel style landscape
Yeah.
shots. So currently I have those three three different portfolios on my site.
Yeah.
And to get it up and running, I threw in some photos that I kind of like. But I'm now like at the point where I'm like, I'm not releasing that website until I know that the stuff that's on there is like, I look at it and I'm just like, yes, I'm happy with
Yeah.
every single one of those images.
Yeah.
And I think at the moment, like, if I'm honest with myself, the images that I have on there, a few of them, absolutely, like, I'm really happy with them. But I think if I look through all the images I have stored, I think I need to go out and be more purposeful
Yeah.
about getting the images that I want to like reflect who I am.
Yeah.
And what I shoot.
It can be tough because like the amount of images that I've gone through that like there's it. So especially in the type of like world that I'm in,
Mhm.
the purpose that my website is serving is for people like photo commissioners and potentially reps and other brands to see, the kind of work that I can do
Yeah,
or like can do for them. And so it's this weird balance of I want them to see that I can do what they need. And
yeah,
the way that I do that is by showing them what I've done for other people.
yeah,
But I also need to show them the kind of stuff that I want to be shooting.
yeah, and like who you
Because if
are.
I'm only putting up the stuff that I've done for other clients, 90% of it's going to be fucking beverages from the
Yeah,
last few years. And
yeah,
maybe a few shots of Jeremy Clarkson when I was working on his Hawkstone brand. But
yeah,
outside of that, like what I ended up doing is I have a very small commercial section on my website.
mhm,
I've broken them down by project
yeah,
now rather than just being like portraits, lifestyle,
yeah,
drinks. I've broken it down by project where I've
mhm,
got my Saracen shoot as a separate gallery.
yeah, yeah,
I did some portraits for Glyndebourne Opera House and a handful of others, but then I've also got a portrait and a
mhm,
commercial page. And I've even pulled those back a little bit with what I show on there. The secret that I've got is I have 3 other galleries on the website that are not actually linked. So if I really want someone to see, like if I'm having a conversation with someone and they're like, "Oh, do you have any beverage work?"
yeah,
Boy, howdy do I.
yeah,
I don't have it where people can just come across it, so I'll send them a direct link.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just not linked on there, but it's, like I have an archive page of a lot of my older work that isn't necessarily representative of who I am now, but it's still good shit.
yeah.
So
So it shows you
it's,
what you can do and have done. Yeah,
yeah. And like, I only just got to a point where I set it up that way. And I have had the same domain for 15 years and it has been through countless and countless and countless revisions. So
yeah, I
Squarespace
bet.
has gotten their money out of me.
I bet.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna fire a few snappy questions at you.
yep.
This is going to be, I'm going to ask the same for this and that kind of questions to everyone that comes on, just because they're things I love getting the answer to.
Yeah.
So, quick fire. If you could only have one, what are you keeping? Prime or zoom lens?
Prime,
Black and white or color photos?
color.
Would you prefer to shoot at sunrise or blue hour?
Mm. Sunrise.
Yeah, okay. And dream camera, what would it be? And like, I'll happily, if you want to throw in as well, which lens you'd use. But like, what would be the dream setup?
You know what a dream setup would actually be? It would be a Hasselblad,
Hmm.
medium format digital,
Yeah.
with a full frame 6x6 sensor,
Okay.
not cropped in like they have now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I want a medium format, classic style, using basically modern V lens. This camera doesn't exist, and it's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
never going to exist. I love the 6x6 format, and I wish Hasselblad, they've got their little whatever, the 507 or whatever back that you can put on the old Hasselblad V's, but it's not full frame. It's a like a 4.3 cropped in,
Okay.
and so like it's not a full 6x6,
Yeah.
60 centimeter by 60 centimeter sensor. That would be the dream camera. But if I want to be realistic in dream camera, um, oh, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because there's so many different things that like I would want out of the dream camera. Again, it's
Yeah.
probably a camera that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think something. If we're going that route, uh,
I will take a made up camera. That's perfectly.
yeah,
That's okay with me.
a Hasselblad digital with a full frame 6x6 square sensor.
Yeah.
That's what I would want.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, dude, it's been so good to sit and chat with you, man. Like, we haven't really had much of a proper chance to
Yeah.
chat too much prior to this. So it's been just nice, like, actually kind of getting to know you, knowing your history, and some of the just cool shit you've done. Like,
Well, thank you, man.
it's so
I
cool,
really
man. It's so
appreciate
cool.
it.
And one time when we're both available, I'm not far from London. I'll come up. We'll go out. We'll shoot. Have a beer.
Yeah.
We'll talk properly.
That sounds great.
So before we leave, before I thank everyone for watching / listening, tell the people where they can find you. I'll put the links in there too.
Yep.
But you know,
my main photography website is www.ctsaunders.com because Chris Saunders is another UK-based photographer that is not me. I almost had that mistake with a client once. I had to explain to them, no, that one's not me. My Instagram is @_Chris Saunders. And I do have a YouTube channel that I can't remember what the actual like @URL is for it.
yeah, that's fine. As I say, I'll put it in. I'll
Yeah.
put it in the description so people can find it for you.
I am going to try starting to make more videos with that because again, I like teaching it and I like talking about photography. I've done a couple of recent videos, and actually I did a how I got the shot of that Vermin Supreme photo, so I tell that story again. So
Perfect.
But yeah, no, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, yeah, again, thank you so much, man. Thank you first of all for being the first guest, but not only being the first guest, but being a good first guest.
Well, thank you.
Imagine I had a first guest and they were terrible. That would have been terrible.
It's been a pleasure, man. I love talking about this stuff all the time at any time. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being on it, and thank you very much to everyone for watching and listening. This will be a continuing series on the channel. I already have a bunch of awesome people lined up. Hopefully continuing with the caliber of this man here. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.